Hello, everyone. This is day 17 of the 30-day live challenge that we have running on this channel. And today, the topic that we are going to be discussing is what do you do with the feelings you can't fix? What do you do with the feelings you can't fix? And the reason why this came about is because I happened to be in one of the groups lately, and it was about sibling estrangement, and there were a lot of people who were struggling with this idea. They they had emotions, they had feelings that were unprocessed, and they did not know what to do with them, and they're desperately looking for the answers to that question. So I thought that why not talk about this in our live, and maybe it may reach some of them and heal the questions that they have, heal their heart and their soul. So I thought that I should talk about it in today's live, and that's what I'm doing here. So, what do you do with the feelings you can't fix? Because the question that I have now for you is, um, what if the answer was not fixing at all? What if the answer was feeling, feeling it, not fixing it, but feeling it, right? Because we have been taught to fix everything, right? That's how all the time we were asked to do when we were growing up, right? What if the answer was not fixing at all but feeling? And we have been taught to fix everything. If something is broken, we fix it. If something is heavy, we solve it. If something hurts, we just shut it down, we just numb it, or replace it with something that doesn't hurt. But what do you do with the feelings you can't fix? The grief that lingers, the love that wasn't returned, the apology that never came, and and the pain that shows up uninvited in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. What do you do with that? Right? So what do you do when your emotions don't want solutions, but they want presence? Right? What do you do? So today, we're not here to fix anything, right? We're not going to be fixing anything. We're here to sit with what is real, and that pain is real. So we're going to sit with it. And in doing so, we let the healing rise, not from force, but from allowance, right? So let's talk about why this matters so deeply, right? Because this is not just about emotional overwhelm, right? It's about what we have been taught to believe about pain, and how that belief has has cost us connection, growth, and healing, right? Because if you realize, we live in a culture obsessed with resolutions, right? We make mistakes. um, we actually we mistake processing for progress. We confuse closure with control. But some feelings are not problems to be solved, right? Those feelings are messengers. They are sort of initiators, right? They are a doorway into those parts of you that have been waiting for you, waiting to meet you, and to finally and fully be with you. It could be that as well, and it is that for the most part, right? Because when we try to fix what was meant to be felt, we sort of bypass that most integral part of our emotional evolution, right? And the thing that we bypass is the integration, because most of the times there are things that we experience or feel not because we need to solve them or you need to find a solution to that. No, we feel those feelings, we have those emotions because we somehow have to elevate to the next level by integrating that into our energy. That integration is what is needed of that pain, of that experience, of that feeling, of that emotion, right? The integration is needed by our soul in order to lift us to the next um, level of experience or evolution in its journey. Because that's where the soul maturity lives, right? And that's the reason why I'm saying that it is there for integration more than anything else. So that's where the maturity of the soul lives, not in how fast we move on, right, but in how deep we show up for ourselves um, during these hard times or during these storms, right? So that's the whole point. And so before we move further on this, right, let's drop into our body as we always do when we are doing the exercises. We call it grounding ritual, as you already know by now. So because understanding these emotions is not just a mental exercise, right? it's it's a felt experience. It needs to be felt. So these emotions are there so that you can feel them. So let's create space inside ourselves to actually receive what is coming, right? So here's what I want you to do, and let me see if there's a way I can activate the music here. Okay, all right. So that should be good. So I want you to place your hand on your heart and close your eyes and say softly, I don't need to fix this feeling. I just need to meet it. And then take a long, deep breath and out. Again, in and out. I don't need to fix this feeling. I just need to meet it. And again, every emotion I welcome becomes lighter. Say it to yourself. Every emotion I welcome becomes lighter. And then breathe it in, hold, and out. One more. Breathe it in and out. So you just made that space that we're talking about, not to get rid of it, but to be with it. And that's power. That's presence. That's emotional sovereignty, if you may. And that's what's needed. So now Let's shift into okay, let's shift um, our focus now. Let's move from the stories we've inherited to a more empowering truth, right? Because this is where the transformation begins. Not in resistance, but in the recognition of the feeling, the emotion, the experience that you're going through, whether it's a pain or whether it's joy or whether it's whatever you're going through. The idea in today's life or today's call that we have is experience, recognition, right? Let's talk soul here. Let's talk energy. Let's talk about what happens underneath that feeling, right? Because we have to realize, and we talked about it yesterday also, and in fact, in many of the other lives that we have had, we know that every emotion is a vibration. That's a fundamental from where you need to build the story. That every emotion is a vibration, a frequency, or you can say a signal, right? And when you push it away, right? When you try to push away and not experience it, not acknowledge it, it stores, right? And when you ignore it, it just lingers. But when you breathe it in, right? When you witness it without judgment, that's when it begins to move. That feeling, instead of getting locked, it then begins to move. And that's what emotions are meant to do. Emotions, if you look at it, is nothing but energy in motion. That's where the emotion comes from, energy in motion, right? So, so when you feel unfixable sadness or resentment that sort of cycles back, right? Love that has no place to go to, right? Those are kind of the feelings that you're going through. If you're going through, ask yourself, can I let this pass through me instead of stick to me, right? Can I let this pass through me instead of stick to me? And that's the difference between stuck and being liberated, right? That's the difference between stuck and sacred. So once we understand the basics behind how and why you are feeling what you're feeling, you would realize that the tendency to fix everything will slowly and gradually move away to acknowledgement, right? Move towards acknowledgement, acknowledging the emotions that we have, acknowledging the feelings that we have, and making them as a valid step to move forward in life. Not everything needs fixing, right? Not everything needs fixing. Some things are to be felt, and that felt part is where the emotion or you can say the soul is, and the fixing part is where the ego is. The ego wants control, right? But the soul wants wholeness. Ego wants control, and the soul wants wholeness. And that's one of the insights that we can take from this conversation here today. The ego wants control, and the soul wants um, wholeness. So let's break it down a little further, because sometimes the things that the thing that is keeping us stuck is not the feeling itself. It's the voice we have been listening to about that feeling, right? It's not the feeling. It's what that mind is interpreting that feeling as. That is what gets keeps us stuck. What story are you telling yourself about that feeling? We talked about that story part in earlier lives as well, one of the lives. And if you'll go through the list of the lives, you'll be able to see on the profile here. But that's what it is. The story that we keep telling ourselves about the feeling that we are having or the emotion that we are having is what keeps us stuck. Because what happens is that the ego will keep on screaming, fix it, make it stop, right? Something is wrong and you will need to fix it. It keeps on saying something is wrong with you for you to be still feeling like this, right? And that's ego. But on the other hand, the soul has a different story. It sort of whispers to you. It says, sit with me, right? Let's talk. Let's be with each other. This too shall pass. This too is a part of becoming, of your becoming, right? That's what the the soul is saying to you. It's whispering to you. Those are the conversations that you have with the soul, and ego is entirely different game there. So let me give you an example, right? Imagine that you're still hurting over something that, let's say, a sibling said over 5 years ago. Just imagine that, right? Just an example. So you've had that conversation back then, and since then, you have had the same conversation 1,000 times in your mind, right? In your head, you keep on reliving that conversation 1,000 times a day. You've journaled it, you've tried to forgive, but that thing still returns, right? It still returns. No matter how much, how hard you try, it still is there, right? The ego says, why aren't you over it yet? But the soul says something different. The soul says, this is not just about what they said. This is about a deeper need to feel seen and respected. This is much deeper than what they said. It's a need to be seen. It's a need to be respected. It's a need to feel fulfilled. It's a need to feel whole. That's what the soul says. And this is not something you fix overnight, right? This is not something that you can fix overnight. That's something you befriend. That's something you befriend. You become friends with this. You become friends with this realization that this also is a path towards becoming your whole self. It is not something to be fixed. It is something to be just felt so that you can elevate yourself to a next level by the awareness, the understanding, right? The knowledge, the wisdom that you gain from this experience or this feeling or this emotion. That's why some of the feelings and emotions are there. No matter how hard you try, they don't go because you're not listening to the message that is embedded in those feelings, right? So when you feel something big, right? So don't make it mean that you're broken, right? You're not broken. Instead, make it mean that you are brave, that you're alive, right? Make it mean that you're tuning in to what your soul message is, right? That's what it's about. It's not about fixing it. The other point is that pure love doesn't rush the healing, right? Pure love doesn't rush the healing. Here's another layer to explore in this, right? Let's talk about how love, real love, interacts with pain, right? It's not to erase it, but to hold it sacredly without judgment, right? If someone you love is in pain, would you say, why aren't you over it yet? Is that how you say? Is that how you interact with them? Is that how you try to bring them out of their pain? Why aren't you over it yet? No, that's not how you do it, right? Then why do we expect this from ourselves? Why do we say this to ourselves, right? So let's take an example. Let's say there is a, and I'm taking a very hard example here, um, but I don't know why this is the only thing that's coming. Think of a parent who loses a child, right? Everyone else wants to rush them through this grief, right? Months go by, and people, let's say, stop checking in, right? But that parent's love does not stop, right? And so neither will the pain of the loss that they have experienced. True love doesn't force healing, right, on a timeline. It does not. It says, I'll sit with you as long as it takes. For as long as it takes, it will sit, right? You don't need to rush through that. There is something that the soul is gaining from that experience. There is a timeline that it has. If you try to fix it, and let's say you succeed, soul has not had the opportunity to experience what it needs to, and you fixed it. Now it'll create the same kind of an experience of that pain, of that suffering, or whatever, again, so that this time that period is longer. And the reason why this keeps on repeating itself is because this message is important for you. And you said that before you came to planet Earth, right? You told your soul that this is important to me. And when I land in a physical plane, and when such a thing happens, I need to be reminded of certain thing. There's a message embedded in that experience. And if you don't allow that message to be revealed or delivered, then you are only asking for a bigger and bigger and bigger problem. Every time you let this not settle in, you are inviting a bigger problem, right? So if there is an experience that, or a feeling that is lingering, that is not leaving you, stop fixing it. Just sit with it. Experience it, right? Because pure love, as in the example that we took, right? That parents will continue to have love, as well as they will definitely continue to have that experience of pain for as long as it needs to. And the soul says that I'll sit with you for as long as it takes, and then it allows them to experience it for however long, and then gradually come out of it. And pure love, like we were saying, right, whether from you or to you, it moves slow, It moves slow, right? It honors the pace of the heart. It trusts the process, right? It knows that not everything unresolved is unhealthy. It is not. Some things are still in the unfolding state. They're just revealing themselves in however form, in whatever form, and in whatever timeline they need to. They're not there to be fixed. They just need to be experienced. They need to be felt. And all that you have to do is to allow that presence that is needed for it to be integrated into your experience. That's why it just lingers. Right? It just does not leave you. Right? The third thing is that you are allowed to carry mystery. Right? And this is the next one that is more like a permission slip for your soul. Right? Because sometimes healing is not about solving, right? And we've talked about it in the previous examples also. Healing is not about solving. Sometimes it's about surrendering to the unknown with gentleness, right? Not with push, with gentleness. Surrender with gentleness. Not every emotion needs an explanation. No, not every emotion needs an explanation. Not every trigger needs a timeline, right? And not every ache or a pain needs a logical root. It does not necessarily has to be like that. And this happens mostly in situations where something happens and you just cannot explain why you are feeling the way you are feeling. You just cannot. You have no words, no explanation, no logical reasoning. Why am I feeling what I am feeling? I don't know. I don't know. Right? So here's an example. You may find yourself crying during a song, right, that you've never heard before. That's an example. Or you feel heartbreak around someone you have only met briefly. Another example. The mind can't explain it, right? The mind can't explain why am I feeling so emotionally moved by the song that I have just listened, or why am I feeling heartbroken by the person who has just met me, right? Mind can't explain this, but the soul remembers, right? The soul remembers. Sometimes the pain is not local to this timeline that you are living, right? It's ancient. Sometimes it is from a parallel journey that your soul is having and that you are not aware of, right? The beauty of this reincarnation and parallel journey of um, of the soul is that you never remember what is happening in the parallel world to you, because if you would have thousands of relationships to remember, and you will have a chaotic experience in every timeline. That is the reason when you take birth, you forget everything, whatever happened, and you start afresh. Right? That's one timeline. But the soul and the super soul, right, the higher soul, can have parallel experiences happening both ways. And since both of these souls are connected here, they can sometime you know, seep this experience into this timeline and this experience into this timeline. It happens. And you would feel it like a mystery, right? See, it's simply a mystery for a normal mind. But that's essentially what is happening. You're gaining insight from a parallel journey that you can't explain why it's happening. It may be happening. There is another you in a parallel universe that is experiencing what you're experiencing right now. And even though you may not be, um, you may not know what is happening, but the depth of the experience of the parallel you is causing that emotion to be reflected in you in this timeline. And that is what causes the mystery, right? That is what causes the mystery. You feel that it's mystery, it's you don't know what's happening. That's what's happening. You get insights from the parallel versions of you left and right all the time. So let's say you are allowed to feel things you don't understand why. You are. You're allowed to grieve people who are still alive, right? You're allowed to long for something you have never had. You are. Your soul doesn't speak in answers, right? It does not. It does not talk to you. It speaks in resonance. It speaks in vibration. It speaks in frequencies. It has no direct words to talk to you like that. It just feels different. It just feels that way. And that's all that you can say. I don't know, it just feels like that. That's your soul talking to you. And let this be enough. You don't need to fix this situation. You just need to experience it and let it pass. If there is something, the message, if there is a message in it for you, it will reveal it to you, in due course, for whatever timeline that you are in and whatever, however long it takes for it to reveal to you. It will reveal. Just let it pass. Let it experience. Let your body experience that. No fixing is needed all the time. Right? So those are the things or the insights that I think that you can take from this conversation today. I know it's already getting too heavy, um, but I don't know why my soul today wanted me to speak on this subject, and I always follow it. And here I am talking about it. It is deep, it is raw, but it is real. And let's continue this journey into the soul questions now with deeper meaning about it. So let's go deeper, right? Because these aren't just questions for your mind, right? They are sort of an invitation from your heart. So I urge you to take them slowly, right? Don't rush into them. Sit with each one of these questions. Let them let them open something inside you. Don't rush for the answers. You don't need to have the answers right away, right? Just your presence is enough. Read the question and be present with it. Let the answer flow into your experience. Don't try to rush to the answer. You read the question and okay, let me answer. No, don't do that. Read the question, sit with it, and let the answer flow into your experience. It will happen. It may not happen right away, but it will happen. And that's how you interact with your soul. That's how you have an opportunity to find your path, the path that you came here to experience, the answers that you came here to find through the feelings and emotions that you just can't explain, right? You just can't explain. You don't know what's happening to you, but there is a feeling, but there is an emotion, right? So let the soul talk to you. Let it reveal itself to you. All right. So let's look at the questions. Question number one: what is that one feeling I keep trying to fix because I haven't yet found or made space to feel it? What is that one feeling that I keep trying to fix? Right? Ask yourself this question. Is there something you've been trying to solve, right? Or to push down or to talk yourself out of? Is there something like that? When really it just wants to be felt. That's all that feeling is trying to do, to be felt. Right? And this question helps you notice where you have been avoiding your own self or your own tenderness, right? That's what it'll allow you to reveal. Question number two: when did I last treat myself like a puzzle, right, instead of a person? When did I last treat myself like a puzzle? Because we often treat ourselves like problems to solve. Most of the time, it is like that, right? We see ourselves as a problem that needs fixing in some way, shape, or form. But we are not puzzles, right? You're not puzzle. You are a whole. You are a whole living being. That's who you are. So this question, when did I last treat myself as a puzzle? This question invites you to notice where you have been more focused on improvement than the experience with yourself, right? Where you have been focused on improvement rather than experiencing yourself, right? Because this improvement is a very vicious cycle, to tell you the truth, right? If you don't allow yourself to experience the moment that is now, and there is a continuous movement towards improvement all the time, what ends up happening is that you don't get a chance to experience your now moment. And the truth, the answers, the messages are not in your past, are not in your future, they are in your now. But you're not focused there. You're always trying to improve yourself. You're always trying to get to the next stage. Well, then you're not home. The messenger will come, knock the door, and then go away. Next time, if it comes, it's going to knock the door harder, and the door might break. So, before that happens, sit with the messenger, get the message, and then move in the direction where the message leads you. Right? When did I treat myself like a puzzle? It will tell you where your focus was or focus is. Is it more towards improvement or is it more towards being present, right, with yourself? So, what feelings? So, the third one I would say is that what feeling, if I give it a full permission to stay for a while, what feeling might actually leave more peaceful, right? What feeling might leave more peacefully if I allow it to fully stay with me for a while? See, some feelings grow louder when we try to push them away or to evict them from our heart, right? They just grow louder. That's their nature. And this question lets you explore what might shift if you were to offer that safety instead of that resistance that naturally comes for that feeling. What if welcome or welcoming was the very thing that would help it soften? What if that is the name of the game there? So what is that feeling that might actually leave more peacefully if I give it a full permission to stay for a while? Right? What's that one feeling I keep trying to fix? Right? So those are the three or four questions that I would request you to jot down and then answer. Try to find an answer to those questions. And like I said, I always say, do that with honesty, right? Don't try to rush into this. Don't try to use your mind mostly. Just let your emotions speak. Let your emotions guide you. Let whatever feels true to you, let that be your answer, right? Don't try to force yourself to find an answer. Okay, so let's move to the last section um, of our life here, which is, as you know, the micro transformation practice that we do at the end. And today we are going to call it the unfixed feeling meditation. The unfixed feeling meditation. So let's anchor this with this last practice, right, for today, because this is your invitation for this practice that is beyond the sight, right, beyond the concepts, to actually meet yourself in presence, and without any need to change anything, right? Meet yourself, experience the feeling or emotion, but don't try to change anything. Just let it be with you. Just let yourself feel that emotion, that feeling, without any intention that I need to fix anything in here. Don't change anything. Just listen to it. Right? Find the quiet space. Sit with just one emotion today. Not many, just one emotion that you have been trying to solve, or you are trying to resolve, right? So like I said, don't try to journal anything. Don't try to name it, right? I have this feeling, I have that feeling. Forget about the name. Just feel it, right? Don't even analyze what that feeling is. Just experience it. Just feel it. Just breathe it in, right? And then just say it to yourself, to that feeling, that you are welcome here, right? That you don't have to go anywhere. I don't need to fix anything. And I'll stay with you for as long as you need to stay with me to give me whatever I need. And then just be still, right? Stay 5 minutes, just witnessing it, nothing more. And this is healing. This is mastery. This is what love is. This is what presence feels like. No need to fix anything. Just like this. And that's how you understand, right, that what you need to do with the feelings that would not leave you, right? So we started with the question, what do you do with feelings you can't fix? This is what you do. You sit with them and you let yourself experience that, right? So I guess that's it for tonight. We are going to end it here. We'll call it a day. So tomorrow's live, we tomorrow's live actually will be something special, something beautiful, something that I would say reveal itself in the energy of the moment. I always do that, you know. I just let my heart speak on whatever topic it needs to, and if in that energy, in that moment, it wants to go in a different direction, I just allow it to go, because I feel that that's the direction it wants to take me, because of whoever is going to be receiving this on the other side of this screen that we have. So tomorrow's life will be again something beautiful, something that will, like I said, reveal itself. Because I don't plan these from the place of strategy. Right? I listen, I feel, and then, like I said, I let my heart speak. So whatever shows up tomorrow, just know this, that it will meet you exactly where you are, as all of these messages are doing. You know, you listen to them today, they will mean something else. You listen to the same message tomorrow, they will mean entirely different. Why? Because you have grown, you have gained more understanding, you have become more aware of your energy, and your energy will automatically give you a new perspective to the same question, same message, same video, right? That's why I say that it will all you will always receive the message based on where you stand in the energy world, right? So that's why I say it will meet you where you are, not because I choose it, right? But because the energy asked for it. And therefore we will let the that energy speak for itself tomorrow. All right. So if this live appealed to you or struck a chord in your heart somewhere, like it, right? Share it with someone who needs this message. Share with this um, whatever it brought up in you. Share in the comments, right? Tag someone who is learning to sit with their unfixable emotions. Share it with those people who feel that they can't seem to find the answer or the solution to what they're feeling. They need to listen to something like this. And again, join the Healing Sibling Bonds Facebook group, or visit our website, simplifiedrelations.com, for more, deeper tools and soul journaling and connection. And like I always say, remember the word, and the word is hope. And hope stands for help one person every day, right? Help one person every day. So that one person today might be you who is inside, who has been waiting to be felt, right? The you who is inside you, who is waiting to meet you, who is outside. So the one who is exploring the egoic world and the one who is exploring the soul world, maybe today is just a time for them to meet with each other, right? So let that happen. So we'll end it on this note, and I will see you tomorrow in another live. All right? Have a good night, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Have a blessed day, and see you tomorrow. Namaste. Bye.